So on our display table today, we've got a number of bush food that I'm going to talk about. Now, there's lots of books that write about bush tucker, and so one of the well-known chefs who is Aboriginal is Cheryl, and he started introducing our native plants into Australian cooking. If I go over to the back there and look at that reed at the back, it's the leaf of the wax plant, and so when you cut it off and it dries, it curls up because the moisture's gone out of it, and so then that becomes part of what we do with basket work. Those baskets were important about carrying food and other belongings on their travels throughout country. We come down to the front here and we've got a small plant that's called custard plant. It's a vine and it has a beautiful bell-shaped flower on it, and so when those beans or when that pod gets to a certain stage, you can eat that, and it's used as a sweetener. And that stick that you see there is called a digging stick, very pointy end for digging out yam daisies and other root vegetables, and even digging up earth to try and get grubs and other animals like lizards and so on. In the Coolamon, there's the seeds of wattle. There's two types in that basket. One's a palm leaf, which is an introduced species, but the smaller one is the black wattle. The other plants in there is lily-pilly, and that there is the frond of a fern, and it starts off being curled up. When it's curled up like that, you can pick that out of the grass, out of the fern, and you're able to eat that. Very tasty. This here, which is spiny matrash, and spiny matrash has lots of little nuts, as you can see on there, and when you pull them off, you can grind them down to make a damper. Now, what they used to do with these grinding of seeds was they would carry certain rocks with them so that they can throw them in the fire, grind these nuts down, make them into a paste, and then put them on the rocks and pull the fire around to make them cook. You can see on this on the table that there's commercial jams that we've collected too from growers further north, and so they're found on the internet, so Australian bush tucker. They're not dear in any way, shape or form, but there's quite a variety of them, like there's finger limes and there's lily-pilly jams, and then there's some tomato paste, and it's quite nice. These little flowers here, which is on the cherry ballard, they're high in vitamin C and a beautiful fruit to eat. So if you see cherry ballards, they've got virtually no leaf, but you see these green pods on them, and so they start off being green, turn to orange, and then they turn to a really beautiful bright red. These will be given out, but there's the lemon myrtle muffins that we've made, and they taste delicious. And then following on from that, we made wattle seed biscuits with a touch of jam in them, and they too are quite tasty and the kids love them. Now this lemon myrtle that we talk about, so there it is there stored away, and I've taken the leaves off that, hang it up, took the leaves off it once it's dried, and then what I do is I come back to that and then grind it up, and then I store it. We've made a batch of wattle seed biscuits with jam on the top, macadamia nuts, almonds, and a small bit of flour with a small oil. Can't use too much oil in this because the macadamia nuts have got oil in them, so when you're doing the recipe you just have to be careful. But they look absolutely beautiful. I'll go into the oven now. Here are the biscuits after about 10 minutes in the oven at 180 degrees, and they look absolutely beautiful. I just want to mention the Kurnai map of Gippsland and the Kurnai tribes, and acknowledge the work that our Uncle Jock Hood produced these documents. Without his knowledge and his recording of this, we would not have them today. Now, Uncle Jock was a prominent elder and worked with a fellow by the name of Bigabilla from New South Wales. The Kamilaroi in New South Wales used to carve their patterns on trees over there, and so working with him made it a lot easier for Uncle Jock to record the shields that he remembers as a young boy that was handed down to him. There is a creation shield that's been erected down at Sand Road Overpass, and that marks the start of entering into Gippsland, and we acknowledge the effort of being able to have that, working with the Baw Baw Shire to have that erected. The clans have totems, and so our totems for the Kurnai were the wrens and the emu wren. They're both small birds, but the emu wren is Yirung, and then the superbrung, which is Deetjung. So when you see these markings on the map, then it will tell you who the shields belong to and what country you're on. So if we take Tuttalong, which is in the central part, that's around the Gippsland Lakes, and then you've got East Gippsland, which is Karathalong, and then you've got the west, which is Bryackalong, and then you've got the north, which is Brabalong, and then south is Barattalong. So again, these shields are very important, and they were important to the Kurnai as part of their totems, part of their designs that fitted into the stories and the creation of the tribe. And we've been in Gippsland for between 27,000 and 34,000 years. This is part of the carbon data that's been recorded in some of the sites that are around Gippsland. And so again, great opportunity to acknowledge that we've been around for that long and survived. So I'd like to acknowledge Uncle Jock for the work that he did on the map, because it's been tremendous, and the Kurnai are so proud of this man.